Dave, thank you so much for coming aboard the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, and we got the audio and the video going. Um, Dave, so for those out there in Filmspiration's audience who don't know too much about you, can you give us a little bit about your history, your background, etc., and then we'll jump on into our topic.
Yeah, all right. Musician from way back, 80s, 90s. Went into the home building business after the music business went nowhere. Did that for 27 years. Retired here to Tucson in 2014, and dabbled in music again, and then got into film back in September of 2018. Started doing some acting classes and improv, and here I am today, woodshedding from whatever's out there.
Yeah. So Dave, talk to me about film very briefly, because I always like to hear why people were attracted to film or got into film. I myself personally, like for example, it was just something I gravitated to at a very early age in 1994, and my dad had a video camera, we had a VCR, and that's how it all started for me. But what was it about filmmaking that attracted you in this direction?
Um, my big thing was I was writing music, hoping to sell music as a songwriter. Spoke to an attorney who's in that business and said that that whole business has died with streaming, that music by itself isn't worth anything. That was kind of disheartening. So we'd written a power ballad that was really a perfect genre or a perfect layout for a sitcom. So I started writing a sitcom, a rom-com movie. Having never done that before, but I'm very creative. I do all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I won't get into that. But so anyway, I started that, realized I don't know what I'm doing. And then started to look more into, learning more about the business, and met some people here. Got in acting classes, improv, did some, tech work as far as cameras and such. And I'm very hands-on. Eventually got to the point where I realized that I really didn't have the equipment or backing to really do a full-length film at this point in my life. So I through various things, I shrunk it to that I could brand what I was doing, which I figured would be a sitcom.
Yeah.
25-minute, approximately repeatable. If we can get it to, people interested, they know what it is, and we can just keep doing. That's where I kind of got to today. Of course, COVID-19 is even a bigger barrier than the film business, I guess. But
yeah, because I mean, I thought about that right away when we started hearing about the 6 foot social distancing recommendations, and I thought, yeah, that might not work for film sets, and even at the grassroots indie level. So, as we're doing here, I've been creating content for a long time, mainly on YouTube, but I decided, with all of this COVID-19 stuff going, I really wanted to talk to people again, mainly, on the basis of film actors and actresses. But here we are making content in 2 separate locations over the internet. So you can still kind of figure out a thing to do and still use the resources at hand, right?
oh yeah, definitely. I probably wish more actors were had set up a little, even a very small green screen, because I could actually do some stuff right now. Everybody has a excuse me, everyone has a smartphone, and the cameras in them are certainly at the grassroots level are fine. Audio can be a little bit tricky, but if you could set that on the stand and, hey, here's a line, I need you to do these few lines.
Yeah.
And so you're doing a medium close-up shot. It's really not much different than what you would do in, if you had everybody there. The fact that the actor is all, standing right here behind you as you're being shot, they do their line. Well, they could do it from Tokyo. I mean, it doesn't, you just have to act. Now, if you could do that and do a green screen, we could drop you into the scene, and I could still be filming today. In general, that's not needed. So I wouldn't want someone to put a lot of effort into getting a green screen in their house to do this. I mean, I have a green screen set up, but I'm the filmmaker. For an actor, but it's a little frustrating, because if you did have it, I literally could be shooting today. I mean, a lot of stuff. Now, you're going to have to wait to do a group shot eventually. And even then, as you well know, you can green screen. You could put 3 people together, and you wouldn't know that they weren't together. It was shot. But so that's so frustrating. But like I said, we're very unique circumstances right
So
now.
right now with the social distancing requirement, Dave, there's a young man out there. I know he's a dad. He's on YouTube. He's one of the guys that. So a thing that my wife and I have been fascinated by is seeing all the creativity, the memes. A lot of them are comedic memes that have been coming out of all of this with regards to having to social distance. And so I'm fascinated by all the art that's being generated by all the artists who are being very resourceful with, if they have a camera and if they're editing at home. And so there's one young man and he's doing these musical parodies. Like I saw one of Madonna's Vogue and then Adele's Hello. And with Adele's, no, with the Madonna Vogue, when he stopped doing that video at the very end, the song's over and then he's carrying his kid right here. And, he asked something like, do you like that? Do you like watching daddy sing? But the shot is wider. And what was fascinating is I couldn't figure out what the backdrop was. You know what that was, Dave? That was the shower curtain. This guy was making a video inside of his bathroom. And it was the most hilarious thing. And he's actually I don't know his name. I would have to dig him up, but I'm pretty sure he's mine. But he's one of the people that's trending out there on YouTube right now because, obviously COVID-19 themed related topics are big right now. But I mean, you have people taking literally one or two shots in this guy in his shower. And I think there's only like maybe one or two other locations. And he got like really, really creative with the camera and in his shower. And then for the Adele cover, or not a cover, but for his Adele rendition of Hello, it's literally him pressed up against a window. And I think there's like one or two other locations, but I mean, that's what's fascinating is the creativity that's coming out of people with very little resources. And so it just kind of
I mean, like I've calmed down that way myself. It's because I can't shoot the Off-White House, my sitcom parody I've been doing. I'm just going in front of my green screen. I just started the Dave Gramling show.
Yeah.
Sanity, but it's basically obviously a one man. If you actually have it out, episode 1 is on YouTube. You can go through my Facebook page to find it. And I actually poke fun at myself that I'm doing. I call I have producer Dave, writer Dave, president Dave. You're a one man operation. If I need anybody, I'll have my wife step in to, as another voice. But I'm actually having an actor who's I've done stuff with. She's going to do a call in for me, voice. And so, there's still ways to put out content that, under circumstances that, okay, there's some restrictions, but it's not stopping you. And I know what you said. I've seen a lot of actors who are, they're stuck in their house. They're doing things. I mean, and there's probably some more collaboration that could be done there. I was thinking of talking to this one couple I've seen do some things to say, hey, why don't you do this? And, we can pull our resources. Most of us probably would just like our art to be seen at this point. So if you're doing a 5-minute clip, well, if you can get a few 5-minute clips from different people on one spot, it's just, there's more draw for one. Hey, I'm going to see what Edgar did today, but then you're going to see what I did because I'm right there with you. And Mike, you're on the site, you're going to pay attention. So that's kind of a way of for us to, promote quote unquote ourselves. But
now let's talk about different locations, because I saw a post out there on one of the many filmmaker forums that I'm a part of on Facebook, and somebody, I don't know what part of the world this person was at, but somebody said, hey, what filmmakers out there would like to collaborate on a documentary with regards to what us filmmakers are going through? And I'm not kidding, about 25 people responded, and this person was only looking for 5 people to say yes and participate too. So I said yes, but I haven't heard anything back from anybody. But I mean, you had like, yes, I'm in Australia, or yes, I'm in Oakland, California. Like, you had all these different places listed. And I thought, that's so cool that in this day and age, somebody can put a post out like that. They want to make a documentary, and then, they drop a message like that. And so many people at 25, which is 20 more than, this person I think was looking for.
Right.
They can still collaborate and still all record, enough content. So then that original person who put that post out can then take all that content, chop it up, and make a documentary. I mean, you know what I say to that? Why not? because if
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
webcam and the internet is what we have to work with right now, then that's what it is. You know what I mean?
Well, one of the interesting aspects of that is that, like you say, someone from Australia, um, it's a worldwide platform, most of
Yeah.
these social medias. So, say you do, network with someone in Sydney, and hey, that was cool. You've opened both of your,
Yep.
your followings. Like now, hey, people that know him, they might check what you were doing now and such. So it's a very good way to expand, your followers. I mean, and certainly, nobody's the king here. You might have something funny. That guy might have something that's equally as funny, or see something you're doing and go, hey, if you did this, it'd be better. Yeah, the collaboration, I think at the grassroots level is very important, because we don't have $1 million a day studio behind us.
No.
I mean, I write my own stuff. I would love to have another 2 or 3 writers helping me out. I'd
Yeah.
love to have behind the scenes. It's there's just so much pressure on you. I mean, you look at any of the successful shows, movies. I mean, you look at the credits for the crew. I mean, it goes on and on. And they talk about the night shows that are having 12 writers. Like Jay Leno. I remember used to laugh at that he had 12 writers. He was a stand-up comedian who was very funny, and he had 12 writers in the show. If you're trying to compete on that level, which we all probably dream
Yeah.
of being on, you got to think about that. That's what you're up against. Can you actually write better than 12 people collaborating? And the odds are it's pretty slim. I'm not Aaron Sorkin.
But let's say you do have something. Let's say if at the very least, as one person with a camera and an editing system in your house, even if they're the basics, let's say you are putting something together consistently, and you are putting together something of value that people are digging. You already have distribution. It's called uploading to either Facebook or YouTube. Um, my personal emphasis right now within the past week has been back to Facebook. But you not only have distribution, but you also have promotion, because Facebook, at the very least, they want $1 a day out of you at the very least. But it can be, now if you take a look at the other side of that, it can be as low as $1 a day, and that'll still get you out there to, depending on what audience you want your
Right.
content placed in front of. But
Yeah.
we also not only have, again, uploading and distribution, but we also have the power of promotion. Once you craft a campaign, you tell Facebook, like, okay, this is the audience I want my content to reach, and you can get super niche and very specific, which by a lot of indie filmmakers, like gurus, that's the recommendation, is to go niche, to find your audience, to find your tribe, right? And so there's a tremendous amount at our fingertips.
I agree.
You want to look at it like on a laptop, like right here, or in the form of your phone. There's a colossal amount that can still be done, right?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. It's interesting today. The technological advances that we have allow practically anybody to be a filmmaker.
Yeah.
And that's good and bad, because it's good that and anyone who has a creative bone can go out and create. The only bad side of that is then what is it, 700,000 hours? I forget the
Yeah.
number of
Yeah.
YouTube, but it's mind-boggling. And you think your 1 hour thing's going to get seen. You realize that you have to do something more than just make it and put it up there. You talked about the $1 a day, which $1 a day is a significant amount of money to promoting your product.
Yeah.
So I am much in the mode that once you get done, that's when the real work starts, and that's where you get into promoting the art. The art is actually easy because it's in our hearts to do it. It's no one has to pay me to go, play golf or something. It's like you enjoy doing that, right? Okay, you're gonna have to pay me to dig a ditch.
Yeah.
So the art's fun. Once the art's done, everyone goes home, and then it's really down to the filmmaker, and maybe if you have someone to help you with marketing. But and you're right, Facebook and YouTube. We've discussed this. That's maybe not a great way to make money, but it's a great way to get seen. You may make some money, but in general, you really should be promoting your name. I mean, if I say Bradley Cooper, well, everyone knows Bradley Cooper. No one knows Dave Graham. It's like, I'd like to use YouTube and Facebook to change that.
And like you said, so let's talk about the longevity behind building brand and consistency, because I think, from a content standpoint, we're at a point where it's not just enough to do that one movie or that one or two or three short films. As a person who has worked for, 17 years now in local television news, I can tell you that you're gonna have your high moments where you just knock it out of the park with one story in particular. Maybe you win some accolades, but then after that, the question, Dave, is okay. What do you have next? Because tomorrow's going to be another day, and tomorrow that day will demand more content again. And so it is really a game of learning to and being able to run the marathon. And then you realize it's not just about the sprint or that one or two or three sprints. Does that make sense? Like it
No, yeah,
it
yeah,
has to be about the ability to generate content like continuously.
right.
I mean, if you're creative about it, and especially if it's coming from here, from the heart, like you said, then no one needs to pay you for that, because there's a need and a hunger and a desire to create from
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as far as building brand, I mean, it's one of the reasons I was trying to do a 25-minute sitcom, was that if you do a pilot and people like it, you can, you do another one. You don't have to change the title. It's the same people. It starts to get familiar with an audience. Dave Gramling, just as myself, as a comedian, it's the same thing. You're committing yourself as a comic, as an actor. But then you have to look at, say, if you're going to create content, you got to be doing something, at least to me, at least once a week. You need new content on your channel.
Very true.
So that means, what can you do consistently in a week? You can't do a 90-minute movie. You probably can't. You can't do a 30-minute series by, certainly by yourself. But I'm shooting for 8 minutes, 10 minutes. Some of that's me just rambling, to stand up, and so it's doable for me. But um, it's something as, individually, you have to look at what are you capable of. Don't, if it took you 3 weeks to get that first one together, you have to really think that, well, can I really do this again now in a week? I've gone through this, and I think that, I've kind of got a business plan. I hate to say that in the art world, but of what I can actually recreate week after week. And there's a little formula to well, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to have the title, and then I do this, and this should be a couple minutes, this should be this, this, and this, and when I'm done, I'm in the 8-minute, 10-minute range. And so I'm very comfortable that I can pull that off, by myself. Eventually, I'd like to bring in some other actors, because one thing about building a name is, I'm really trying to build up the Off-White House. That's really my vehicle that I'd like to see. I was talking before that my goal of success in that is to get 1 million views on YouTube one day, and bring the 10 actors or so that are involved, with me, get all that exposure. But in the meantime, if I can do that as Dave Gramling, the comic and writer, and get their name recognition, get a following, and then it spills over into the Off-White House when we get back to filming. That's kind of my goal. And if we can get to that point, then we have some leverage to maybe actually sell the product to someone much bigger than us.